Hello everyone and welcome back to Gran Turismo 7. We are here today for the final sport mode video for the time being, the final round of the Nations Cup, and we are driving the Suzuki Jimny, a new car to the game as of a recent update, and yeah, this little thing is absolutely awesome. I think it's about 63 horsepower, weighs just over a ton, 660cc. It is a K car with four-wheel drive. It's very cool. But anyway, we get going for what is really our first taste around this circuit. I did do a couple of laps of practice, but nothing significant. So yeah, there's not been a lot of practice for this final round. So in this very brief warm-up session, trying to get up to speed. But yeah, with no practice, I don't really know what to expect heading into this round. But it is the middle length of the three variants of the snow circuit, Lake Louis, that we are racing on today. The oval, I guess, is the most basic version, and there's a much more complex one. But anyway, those are for another time. For now, though, we are ready to qualify. Well, I'm not sure about ready, but we're about to. Unfortunately, though, this first race is going to be a little bit redundant, because the way the point system works in the Nations Cup is that it drops our worst 2 point scores, and so far we've scored 13 points, 10 points, and 21 points in the rounds so far. So to actually get a meaningful result out of this round, we'll need to score 14 points or more, otherwise it's not going to be worth anything. So the matter of fact is that the most points we can get from this race, even if we win, is 11. So this race is kind of pointless in that way, but it'll be a good chance to get used to the car and see how we go. So yeah, let's just find out. And oh, there's a nice little switch back there. We're not even racing yet, this is just qualifying, but we move on. We've already moved on, I should say, to our second flying lap, and yeah, we'll see if we can just get a cleanish lap in. It's a little bit chaotic in qualifying. Everyone's kind of flying on top of each other, especially through the first and last corner. I really struggled with those. The middle sector, I was pretty good, but the first corner and the last corner, I really didn't really know what I was doing there. I've seen, over the course of these two races, people doing wildly different things, and some things work better than others. I don't know. I haven't figured it out. We went out very wide there, almost came to a stop on the exit. That wasn't good, and yeah, that sort of ruined our run onto the straight. But you can see the three cars in front of me were keeping it quite tight on the inside, but I've also seen people go out very wide and also sort of make that work. So I don't know, but whatever I'm doing doesn't work. That's all I know. This is why rally is just not my thing. But it's fun. But anyway, we set our lap time. It's not particularly great. We're down in 8th position so far, and yeah, that was the best we could do in that session. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting race nonetheless. There seems to be quite a skill gap between the fastest and slowest drivers here, so yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be, yeah, interesting to see where we come out at the end of the race, but yeah, it's not going to be easy. And yeah, I'll see if I can learn anything from this one. That's sort of the main thing I'm hoping for, given that there's effectively no points on offer, at least for me. I'll just see if I can manage to find some more lap time effectively. In qualifying just now, we did do a 1 minute 23, so we'll keep that in mind, and we'll see if we can do better. But there's the point system again. As you can see, we can't improve on our current points with even a race victory, and that's not going to happen. I noticed a very interesting livery there on the right, third one down. Looks oddly familiar, but seems a bit off somehow. But anyway, yeah, we'll see how the race goes. Let's get into it. World Series Nations Cup Final 2023/24 Exhibition Series Season 2 Round 4 Lake Louis Short Track. And here we are then, ready to go racing, and we'll see where everyone lines up on the grid. A very interesting grid formation here, cars scattered everywhere. On pole position it is going to be I Have Just, we saw them back at Fuji. Same with JHP, who starts in second position. There's the familiar livery of Dr. Holic ahead of Batman at P4. Starting in fifth position is GL220261 ahead of Curly Mo. We've seen them too in P6. Then it's this guy 84 in P7 ahead of myself. Starting down in 8th position. In P9 we have 3 the Merkin, and then rounding out the top 10 we have Pubman. Starting in 11th position we have the West Oz Stoner, and then in P12 Falcon 994, and then in 13th position we have Bruzo, and in 14th position we have Gumby. Rounding off the grid in P15 we have Depomination. So with the field set, we get ready to go racing here. We're underway for the final round of the Nations Cup in the Suzuki Jimnys. This is an amazing looking field of cars we have here. This is just really cool concept, I think. But yeah, this is going to be a very fun race. We go towards the first corner then, and gaining quite a few spots actually. We're up into the top 5. It's been a great launch off the line for us in this one, as we heard through the right-hander. We're trying to sort of turn it back down to the right. Everyone's going quite deep there, and in the end we've actually lost a position through all of that. So yeah, that didn't quite work, as we're going to try and make the move to the outside here. Quite a few people just using the default liveries in this one. This car was literally added, I think, 2 days before the event, so it's understandable that a lot of people don't have liveries prepared for this one. Meanwhile, our friend in the Mitsubishi Pajero liveried car is getting racy at the front. It looks so cool. It just works with the shape of this car. But anyway, we are getting driven through by another car there. That's not ideal, but we'll see if we can maintain our position inside the top 5 or 6. We sort of lose a position there, so in the slipstream we go. The slipstream is very strong in this race. It's actually quite ridiculous, but you can see how much straight line speed we're gaining there as we look to the outside towards the first corner, and we should be able to get this move done, and we'll make our way back up into the top 5. So yeah, we do have good pace so far in the early stages. They're going a bit sideways through there, bit of contact mid-corner, but we get away with it, and now we'll see if we can fight back. But we lost a bunch of places there through turn 1, as everyone else just got a better run through there. We're down into P8 now, so things can change very quickly, and yeah, we are not going so well anymore. Anyway, we check in on the race leader, still at the moment the Pajero livery Jimny. I don't know what it is about that livery on this car, but something about it just works. It kind of reminds me of an old PlayStation 2 game called Road Trip Adventure, which it was produced by a Japanese toy company who would make these little, I guess like stumpy versions of real cars, and it really does look like something from that game, where the cars were so short they were basically just a square. So it looks like something that could be in that game. Unfortunately, they didn't have that Nikon Pajero, but they did have some very iconic cars in it. The Mazda Le Mans car comes to mind. But anyway, we go back on board with myself. We're still running down in 8th positions, trying to close in to the group ahead, and at the moment still not going so well. We're running side by side up ahead though, so we may have an opportunity to gain a bit of time here if they hold each other up. We'll try and get a good line through this back section where I have been a little bit stronger, and yeah, we'll see if we can gain anything here. We do seem to be slowly chipping away, but when you're running about 63 horsepower, what you can do to gain time on others is a little limited. These cars, despite being like, I think if we're on a road, I think these cars would very much suit my style, but because we're driving on snow, perhaps not so much. Unfortunately, our Pajero friend has dropped down the field a little bit into 3rd position, so they're starting to slip back as well, although side by side for the race lead, make that maybe 3 wide as they head into turn 1. That's the power of the slipstream, which is very, very strong here, and down the inside goes the Pajero, and they're all sort of grinding along the outside wall there, which is something else I didn't pick up on really, but something a lot of the others were doing, especially the fast people, and that's allowed the Pajero to temporarily get back in front. But this fight for the lead, 3-way fight for the lead, is well and truly on. And at the moment, it's JHP who has taken it out of the Pajero, and then I have just runs in 3rd. But just look at these little cars go. They look so good, just bouncing through the snow. I don't know. It's a bit strange. It's actually strange seeing that Pajero livery in snow. It is, of course, of Dakar fame, where I believe the Pajero is still the winning most car at the Dakar. But anyway, sidetracks aside, yeah, that makes sense. They're still racing their way, and the slipstream again helping the Pajero to try and retake the race lead as they will head down towards the first corner once again, and they do so. In fact, JHP, who was leading, ends up 3rd. I have just on the outside trying to get involved as well, but it is the Pajero who is going to come out on top for now. I have just dipping down to the inside, driving through each other there. That's not how physics works, but it is in these nations races where ghosting is very strong. But anyway, they're still trying to occupy the same portion of the universe as eventually the Pajero emerges from inside the Jimny and will take 2nd position. But yeah, this is an intense fight for the lead. Really, there's nothing separating these top 3. The Pajero once again has a look down the inside. That corner is very much off camber there, and that's, you can sort of see them struggling a little bit more on the inside. So things like that I probably didn't really notice until it was a bit too late. So yeah, there's a lot I could probably could have learned if I watched this replay as I was or before attempt number 2, but spoiler alert, I didn't do that. Anyway, as you can see, these top 3 are still separated by absolutely nothing, again going 3 wide down towards the first corner as they drifted in, and you can see wildly different lines there, and again grinding up against the outside wall. Wall collision penalties were on for this round, so it didn't even cross my mind to try and just wall ride it through turn 1. Well, not exactly wall riding, they're just sort of like glancing off of it, but it does gain time when you do that, because I did do it once in one of the races and got an amazing run through the corner, but I still never really wanted to rely on that. But anyway, we've finally caught up to P7 once again. That guy is in front of us, and we'll see if we can make a little overtaking maneuver somewhere. There's not really a lot you can do here through this back section of the circuit, so we do have to try and find a better place to make a move into the final corner as a possibility, but we're going to try and keep it a little bit higher so that we don't give ourselves too tight of a line. But yeah, the sort of off-camber section, yeah, I probably didn't avoid that as well as I should have throughout these races, and that's something I'm really only noticing now. But what has happened is we've put ourselves in a good position for some slipstream on the run to the first corner. Not sure if we're a bit too far back, but we'll see the test of how powerful it is as we head down towards the first corner. And I imagine we should be able to make some decent ground here as we head towards turn 1. You can see we did gain a little bit as we throw it in, and we're keeping it much tighter to the inside compared to the race leaders. And we got a great run through there, used the full width of the circuit, and we get around our little friend in the Suzuki Jimny there. Everyone in a Suzuki Jimny, don't know why I felt the need to specify that. But anyway, we're up into P7 once again. The next group of cars are way up the road, so we're not really going to be fighting them. And then we lose out to the other Jimny. So, yeah, that wasn't great. Don't know where they got that massive run from. Was that just the slipstream? I'm not sure. But yeah, that was... that basically summarizes like rally racing in Gran Turismo for me. It feels like everyone else has got like an extra 30 horsepower, which when you've only got 63, that makes a big difference. I always feel like especially in lower powered cars, I never have enough power to make the car do what I want. But yeah, I don't know. Rallying, as I said, not my thing at all. So I don't really know I don't know what I need to do or what I need from the car to make it go faster. It's just something I've never really understood, as hard as I've tried at times. But anyway, back to the battle at the front, where people are going much faster than us in the mid-pack, and this is well and truly on once again, as the Pajero is looking to make the move to the inside of I Have Just. One of them on the road, one of them definitely not, and is there a bit of contact there? Hard to tell, but the Pajero is going to get through. And I Have Just is off high and wide and will slot into third position. JHP still leads the way and is doing well in this one. I think last time we saw them at Fuji, they had a little mishap of not making a pit stop. So thankfully in this race, that's not something they will have to worry about. No pit stops required here at Lake Louis. But anyway, the Nikon... I don't even know whether to call it Pajero or a Jimny anymore. I've been confusing myself this whole time. Takes the lead, and they will continue to race on as the JHP fights back. And this top three is absolutely going at it. I Have Just getting involved now and jumps back up into second position. There is absolutely nothing between these three, you know, in terms of skill level and lap speed. They're all locked together and doing a great job to make that fight for the lead very interesting. But back on board with myself, we are getting our way through the race now on to lap 9, and we're still just you know, trying to hold on to this little 8th position battle, but we've sort of lost a bit of time recently, and I feel like P8 may be the best we can do unless something amazing happens in the next lap and a half. But yeah, we're really struggling at the moment. We've just sort of dropped off the back, and we've kind of lost that slipstream that was keeping us in the fight. So yeah, P8 may be where we are, as we had a bit of a wobble there. But back to the front to see this lot complete their final lap of the race. Through turn 1 they go, still fighting it out, and it is JHP ahead of I Have Just, barely ahead of the Pajero, and they are still going at it. Pajero slots into third position. Hopefully this guy can win because he's got the cool livery. That's why I've been showing this the whole time. But it looks like JHP has got things under control and has finally broken free of the two behind. So this may be a battle for second between these two. And we'll see how it plays out, because there is absolutely nothing going on in our race. We're in a world of our own in 8th position, and yeah, the cars in front and behind too far to really affect our race. So we're watching on with these guys, but it looks like things may have settled down as JHP is well up the road as they come out of the final corner, and JHP is going to take the victory, and I have just will be second ahead of the Pajero. Dokaholic in third, tries to get the run towards the finish line, but I don't think it'll be enough, and that was at the end of the race for them. For myself though, we did not get a good run through the middle sector at all, and we even lose 8th position, so that was not very good at all, and we drop into P9 at the end of that. So yeah, just a frustrating race really. We didn't have the pace, and yeah, we're only going to come away with P9 in what is a fairly, you know, low scoring race. And you know what the telling thing is that there are drivers in here that we've raced against before, and you know, have been faster than before in the past. You know, I remember seeing Batman at Bathurst and at Fuji. JHP was at Fuji. Of course, they didn't make the pit stop that day, so impossible to know where they should have been. We were very close with at Fuji as well, and they were all well ahead of me. So I think that's the sort of telling thing. I just don't have the pace in the snow to keep up. But that's how the first race went, but the second one is going to be a little more interesting, because we will have the opportunity to score some big points. Oh, clean race. So we get into the second one then, the second attempt, and we get ready for qualifying. Hopefully we can you know, put in a decent effort. If we can start in the top 10 again, that would be fantastic, and we'll go from there. But as I said, this race will be worth more points. I forget exactly the number, but we've been given the number 12 for this race, which last time that happened was the second attempt at Super Formula in Brazil, and in that race we got 21 points for finishing 7th, I believe. So you know, if this is a similarly points race, we have a good chance of improving, even if we have a fairly average result. So we'll see what happens as we prepare ourselves for the race by hopefully doing a good lap in qualifying. We get through the first few corners all right. We've got absolutely no one around us. Slightly grazed the inside wall there, not ideal. So that probably, you know, may cost us a slight amount of speed, but anyway, as we head up towards the big right-hander here, you can see, you know, cutting in very tight there. It's uphill, it's sort of off camber there, and I think that's where I was sort of going wrong a lot with that final corner, and probably costing myself a lot of time there. You can see not getting a great exit versus the car behind, and that sort of tells that I'm doing something very, very wrong at that corner. But yeah, I didn't really notice how badly, you know, off camber that section was until seeing some of the replays from that first race, but that was far too late. But anyway, qualifying was terrible, absolutely terrible. P15 last, actually. Nico 67 did not set a time. They don't. It's not even they didn't set a time. They actually DNF'd. So for the third time out of the 3 races we've seen them, they've managed to somehow put themselves out of the running one way or another before the race has even started, which is kind of insane. But anyway, yeah, that was kind of a shock, to be honest. I thought, I knew this was going to be a struggle. There's a lot of good drivers here, but last position, that's not good enough. The race is going to be really tough. I can say that now. We'll check out the points system hopefully before the race starts, and we'll see if we can set a target. But yeah, there we go. It is 25 points for a win, so slightly less than the Super Formula race. P11 we get 14 points, so that is the target. If we get P11 or better, we can improve our points for the season. P10, oh sorry, P12 or worse, and we just will be an entirely pointless round for us, basically. So yeah, 11th place, that is the clear target. So without further ado, let's get into it. World Series Nations Cup Final 2023/24 Exhibition Series Season 2 Round 4 Lake Louise Short Track. Again, for the final time. Now, we're here, ready to go racing on the grid once more, starting right from the back. Let's see where everyone lines up for this important race. On pole position, it is going to be TCR D-Man. And starting in second position, we have D Inkpan. And in P3 we have Slow Dino, or Dino, who knows. In P4 we have Chumbawamba. And in 5th position, Batman once again. And starting in P6 we have Pug 203. And in P7 we have Clarky. And then in 8th position, Mr. J. And starting in 9th position, GL220261. And then in 10th position, Hawk Racing. Starting in P11 we have G Flash 1, and then in P12 Macca, a different Macca I think, and then in P13 Wickerlen, and in P14 myself. Someone else has dropped out from the race before we've even gotten started. We've got a Kinder Surprise in front of us. Hopefully this race has some surprises. We will need them. Once again, a decentish start from us. We're going to gain a position along the run towards the first corner, but nothing too crazy. Actually, we may gain a couple here as we look to the inside. Kinder Surprise seems to know what they're doing. They are absolutely flying. Maybe we can follow them through as we go down the inside, and we'll try and keep things tidy on the inside, well away from the other cars, and we'll just see what this does for us as they're all tangling on the outside. We emerge from the corner in 11th position, so that sort of worked for us as Kinder Surprise is still right there in front of us, fighting it out just inside the top 10. Hopefully we can get there very shortly. Unfortunately we lose a position, drop ourselves into P12 now, so you know, we're right in that region as we get past a couple of cars maybe here that got forced out into the outside wall. It's very easy to do when you're running side by side through there to either push someone out or get pushed out by someone into that outside barrier there. And I've seen that a couple of times over the course of these races when two cars are going side by side through there. I think it even happened in the first race. Someone was on my outside through there on the first lap, and didn't really see it, but I think I heard a scrape of the barriers behind, which was probably that car. Yeah, it's so easy to do, and you lose a lot of time when you scrape the barriers with these cars being so light and with so little horsepower. You really do have to try to keep the speed up. But anyway, we finished the first lap of the race in P10, which is, you know, within the regions of what we want, just about. Like I said, we need P11 or better. And there is that little bounce off the wall I referenced. I knew it happened at some point, and you can see that gave us a good run, and that was not even a refined bounce off the wall. That was just me losing control. but it's given us the opportunity to try and make the move on Kinder Surprise. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to make that work. Another couple of cars into the barriers though. That moves us up into the top 10 for now, even potentially up into P9 if we can continue this run as we try and keep it to the inside. And there it is, 9th position. So we're still chipping away and gaining a few spots here and there as the cars in front are all fighting it out quite aggressively. And that's really the most we can do when we don't have the raw speed. We can just tag along and try and pick up the pieces, try and stay in the slipstream. That's going to be a big deal if we can keep up with Kinder Surprise at the back of the train and stay in the slipstream. That's really going to help us throughout the course of the race, because the slipstream is absolutely massive. Unfortunately, we're a bit too far back for that at the moment, but we've got a few positions up our sleeve, so hopefully we can just maintain the pace and hold on to P9, and that will be a result I'm very happy with given the points available and just how fast everyone else in this race is. But I think for now we can say we've lost sight of that group ahead. They're escaping up the road and we are losing places now, so that might be the last we see of Kinder Surprise, unfortunately, as we begin a new battle at the back end of the top 10. So yeah, it's all downhill from here, unfortunately, but it's fine. We'll still try our best to hold on to a top 11 finish. That was the target heading into it, and we're not going to forget that as we give the car in front just a little bit of a nudge there on the way into the corner. No big deal though, and now we are in that slipstream realm. When we duck in behind, we are going to get a massive tow from them, and you can see it working as we head along the straight, just inching ourselves closer and closer. And as we head towards the corner, we may be able to make a re-overtaking move as we look to the inside, and we should be able to get this done as we flick it in, big drift sideways, and of course the car just grips up and tries to go straight again. We don't have the horsepower to drift. What am I doing? We're on ice, or snow, for goodness sake. I don't know where all this grip's coming from, but that's dropped us into 11th position and given us a world of pain, unfortunately, trying to do that. So yeah, that didn't work, and now we head through the back section of the circuit, slowly but surely losing sight of the cars in front. We move on a little later in the race, and we do get a glimmer of hope because the car in front has a penalty to serve. That is Batman slow in a straight line there, and that is going to allow us to reclaim a position inside the top 10 for a couple of seconds anyway. We move on again towards the end of lap 6, so heading towards the 2/3 mark of this race, and we are under fire once again. G-Flash 1 is behind us and really putting the pressure on, and well, actually briefly they took 11th position for a moment. They're behind us once again now though, and just sitting just diagonally behind, ready to try and make an overtaking move at the first corner. And at the rate they've caught up, I don't know if we're going to be able to hold on to this. And remember, this is our target position. We can't afford to lose any more positions at this point in the race. We try and get diagonally down for a later apex, never really got there, but it was enough for us to get a bit of a switch back to the inside. So this could be enough for us to keep this fight going and prolong the inevitable maybe as we continue to fight away with Flash. We might have the opportunity to come back actually with a bit of slipstream there, halfway alongside now as we go around the outside of this slight left-hander, and we do retake the position back up into P11. So we might be able to make a fight out of this if we don't make any mistakes. We'll see how it goes as we throw it into the final corner once more, trying to keep it wide there now. I have picked up on that a lot of others are doing that, and it's working. But still not a great run through there. They managed to sort of cut in and just slip underneath us. We do have a better exit though, and we do have the slipstream of course on our side as well, as we run now side by side to complete lap 7 of the race. 3 laps to go, and we are fighting out for our target position of 11th. If we can get there, we will score an extra point for all that is worth. But we flick it in, big drift into the corner. I was trying to make it a tight line on the inside to try and sneak through that way, but again we just didn't get anywhere near the bottom of the track where I wanted to go, and yeah, that didn't help us. So yeah, it's I don't know, like I said, don't really know what I'm doing in terms of rallying, and it kind of shows. But regardless, we're still in this fight for 11th position. We haven't lost out yet, so we'll see what we can do as we continue to race away through the middle sector. We're very good through here. This is where I'm strongest compared to them. They are much stronger at each end of the racetrack. So yeah, if we can do enough in the mid sector, we might be able to keep this fight going long enough to be in it on the final lap. They switch it back again through the final corner, and now we are once again in prime slipstreaming position towards turn 1. So here we go again, as we've only got 2 laps left in this race, and I'm starting to think, is this a good place to be? If we get the run towards the line, maybe this is the best way for us to get P11. Unfortunately, we don't quite get there in time, and they cross the line ahead of us on that lap. But it is certainly a possibility as we flick it into turn 1 once more. About mid-track this time, trying to still carry the speed, maybe cover them off a little bit. But again, they get the run around the outside. Just yeah, maybe even just having the more open line, less sliding, might be what's allowing them to carry better speed. But regardless, we're in behind in the middle sector once more as we head through for the penultimate time. Let's see what we can do on this occasion as we are in the slipstream. Is it going to be strong enough to help us come back? They're kind of still escaping away from us, carrying that speed all the way from the first corner, and it's, you know, it is very telling whether you get a good or bad exit. We really get it close to the inside there this time, drift out all the way to the wall, and that has allowed us to take 11th position back. So is that finally a good line through that corner? Not sure, but now it's put them behind us as we move on to the final lap of the race. And tell you what, the group ahead, not as far in front as I thought, not close enough for us to think about any potential moves on them, but it is very interesting. Maybe this little slipstream battle is helping our speed. But anyway, we throw it into the first corner, try and keep it up a little bit higher than they do, try and tuck down lower and get a straighter exit, but still we just do not get a good exit at all. And once again, it feels like everyone else has an extra 30 horsepower, and that's the end of the battle. There's no way we can close in that kind of margin before the end of the lap unless they make a mistake. So I think that's going to be it for us, and unfortunately we're going to be 1 position short of what we were aiming for. But yeah, I don't know, at least in terms of my skill level at this kind of racing, I don't think there's much more I could have done. When, you know, they're just faster, full stop, there's only so much you can do to try to keep up. But we had a good battle. It was a lot of fun, I will say. That fight for 11th position, my heart was absolutely pounding. Very disappointing that we didn't quite get there, but still, it's a solid round. It's going to be 13 points for 12th position, and yeah, it's yeah, a little frustrating. Kinder Surprise ends up with a pretty good result. They finish P7, but yeah, that's it. That's the end of the racing action here at Lake Louise. P12, P9 I think it was from the first race. So my worst pair of results so far, I think. Yeah, really did not have a good run here, and yeah. Anyway, here are the results of the Nations Cup. In our local area, we get position 1 of 1, top 5% of course, 300k for that. We get, I think, second of 5 in the main area, which is top 25%, 150,000 credits for that one. In the country Australia, we get 155th. That's in the top 75% bracket, 225k for that, and 375k for being in the top 75% of Oceania, which is literally just Australia and New Zealand. Technically the Pacific Islands as well, but no one out there is competing in this. So that is where we are. We get a total of just over 1 million credits, 1,050,000 for our efforts in this one, and a little bit less than what we managed in manufacturers, because in manufacturers we got top 5% in the state, as well as top 25% for Dodge. So yeah, a little bit less, but that's not a big deal. It's not like we need much money at the moment. We are absolutely very rich. Anyway, that's going to do it for this one, so I will say thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. I really do appreciate it. Please feel free to give me some feedback in the comments. It's always very helpful, and I will see you in the next one, and goodbye.